Welcome back. So in the last video we had created this card, okay, and those who have been able to do this, they can follow in this video. If you have not done the card part, I would advise that you go back and finish that first, because the concepts which we will be using here are otherwise going to be novel to you. So let me just close this and show you the objective for this video. Now we have reached to a level where we are ready to understand about the Bootstrap. We have used HTML and CSS. There are many other things to CSS also for creating the whole page. You can write the whole thing from scratch, or you can use some classes which are there in the Bootstrap library. So let me just quickly go to the document we were referring and then go to the section where it talks about Bootstrap. So first question is, what is Bootstrap? A powerful mobile first front-end framework for faster and easier web development. So it clearly tells you that it is mobile first. So the responsiveness is targeted first for mobile and then for desktop. Okay, but the classes we will use are all going to be very responsive, and it will adapt the layout depending on the device it is being accessed from. It includes HTML, CSS and JS components for forms, buttons, navigations and other interface components. Getting started with Bootstrap. To use Bootstrap, include its CSS and JS file, the JavaScript file, in your HTML document. You can download Bootstrap from getbootstrap.com or include it directly from a CDN. So these are the two ways. For our example, we are just going to use CDN links. CDN stands for Content Delivery Network, and we will also not use getbootstrap.com but rather a different website. So we will use this w3cschools.com. Now this is an amazing website. I'm just gonna open up anything which is there and go back to the home. So when you go to w3cschools.com, you have to click on Bootstrap. However, before we do that, I would like to show you the resources for HTML and CSS. You can click on HTML and learn about these. It's very handy and very well organized, and I still keep on coming back here whenever I get into any issue while working on my projects. So see, the idea here is not to mug up all the things which are there in HTML, CSS. It's just about learning how it can be used, and you can always refer to the document. Very few people you will find who remembers everything. So they will remember the things which they use most, right? Same is in my case, and you also are going to develop your knowledge in the same way. You should not think that I'm gonna learn about everything by mugging them up. No, that's not gonna work. So you can always come back here for HTML references, CSS references. There are other languages also. For JavaScript, you can refer to this, and very guided, very systematically they have planned the tutorials here. You have to study a lot and read through the documentations to understand it, but it will be worthwhile. In this case, they also happen to have their own version of a Bootstrap, which is w3.css. Really nice. It's faster than Bootstrap in my opinion, but Bootstrap is the industry standard, and a lot of people use it, so we should rather stick to Bootstrap. Let's go to the Bootstrap, and there are three options. I'm gonna go for the latest one and choose Learn Bootstrap 5. Here also Bootstrap clearly tells what it is. Bootstrap 5 is the newest version of Bootstrap, which is the most popular HTML, CSS and JavaScript framework for creating responsive mobile first websites. Now read this line and get excited. Bootstrap 5 is completely free to download and use. That means you can download the whole code base and also host it wherever you are hosting your website. But I find it too cumbersome since they have already given us the CDN links. So to obtain that, we have to go to the Get Started page and then scroll down to this section where it says Bootstrap 5 CDN. Now, in this two line of codes which we would require, the first line is commented out. This is comment out. This is not going to get executed. Okay, all read by the browser. So this is just for taking notes, and it says latest compiled and minified CSS. So we have one line for the CSS, one line for the JavaScript. Let me copy the first couple of lines, Control C, and I'll show you where to put it in the page. So we have to start fresh. Let me just quickly close this entire thing, and for index.html I'm quickly going to rename it to card.html. okay, and I'll let the styles for this particular thing be there, right? I'm not gonna change anything here. I'll simply change the name of the style sheet from style to style card.css. In another place we have to do it, otherwise you'll see that it's creating problem in the preview. There is no index.html file and was looking for HTML file. So I'm gonna go to the card.html and change from style to style card.css. okay, now everything will work as expected. We just change the names, and now we will build up a few files. So first thing I'm going to do is create a new index.html. Then quickly I'm gonna go back and then create style.css, and I'm going to close the previous files, card.html and style card.css. okay, now these two files are for the card, so we will not work with that. Since we are building up our one page single website using Bootstrap, we are going to start with index fresh, and I'm going to type in HTML, select HTML5, hit tab, and for the body, this is what we intend to do, right? So first thing first, we are building let's copy some codes from Bootstrap library. So let's go to the Bootstrap and copy this. For linking our CSS, we will do it right below the title, say Control V to paste it. And also I need to link the style sheet I have for writing custom styles. So I'm gonna hit enter again, type in link, and here I'm going to say style.css. So we have linked both the style sheets, one our style sheet, another Bootstrap style sheet. We also need to copy the JavaScript code here. So let me just copy this and paste it here. So JavaScript codes or link of JavaScript should be given after the body closing tag. Okay, it's the best practice. Now in between the body tag, I'm going to go slightly up and copy this Bootstrap 5 examples. So let me just copy this entire thing, say Control C, and then paste it here. Now all this HTML has classes already assigned to it. You see container -fluid, p5, b primary, text white, text center. Now what this does is it automatically styles the content based on what is defined in the CSS file hosted at the CDN links of Bootstrap 5. Okay, so we don't have to define it separately. However, we can always add a custom class of our own. You can have more than one class assigned to one element. You can see here that this has how many classes? This is one class, this is second, this is third, right? Total 5 classes are assigned, and all those 5 classes are contributing how the layout is looking. So let's click on the preview and then open this page in the browser. And I'm going to close this preview. I'm using Alt Tab, by the way, to switch between the pages fast. So this is how it looks. The code we have copied is actually returning this in the browser, rendering this in the browser. And this element you see, if you want to read about the documentation of it, so you should read the container class. So we are going to go to the Bootstrap page and look for the container. Here is container. If you just read it, you will learn about it. It says that you learn containers are used to pad the content inside of them, and there are 2 container classes available. One is container hyphen fluid, another is container, and the difference is pretty clear in the image itself. Container hyphen fluid acquires the entire width of the browser, and container contains it to a specific size. That size is defined by Bootstrap CSS styling. So if I change this fluid to just container, this is how it is going to look. Okay, I want it full width, so I'm going to type in fluid back, and just one simple line can make such changes. Now I want to further customize it so that it looks like this. Oh, the replication of card I did not cover, so I'll do this later on. Now here, this is how I want it to look. I have got the image, right? Here I see that the custom font is there, and the button is also changed, and the button is also sort of, on hover, it's animating very softly, very smoothly, transiting one color to the different one. So all these things we are going to learn, and we will also have a nav bar. We will add a logo to the nav bar. We will make sure that these links are functioning. Then we will customize the button of the search bar. We will have another section by the name about us, and this is how we are going to build it. So first thing first, we need to add that style which makes it look like this. So I see there is a background color, the height of this section is bigger, and the font is different, right? So let's address it one by one. First thing first, let's change the content. So I'm just going to go here and then copy the content from here, or rather let's use the document we had created. So it says about hero section that we have a headline of this. So I'm gonna copy this and go back to my code, and here where it says column 1, where it says h1, this is the area. Let's format the code real quick so that it looks better. Yeah, looks much better now. So this is the place where we need to change the content for h1. Paste it, and then for the paragraph, let's refer to our document and copy this and paste it here. Now instead of paragraph, which renders it like this, I want it bigger. So instead of P, I'm gonna use H3, and here also we have to close the H3, which will render it slightly bigger. Good. We'll take care of the font later on. First, let's take care of the layout. So quickly, I'm gonna tell you about this. This controls the container. I showed you already. P5 means padding 50 pixel. BG primary means it will apply a Dodger blue color for the background. Text white simply means that it's gonna render the text in the white, and text center is keeping all the text in the center. So these are the classes already defined, and I'm gonna get rid of all of it because I'm gonna type some custom code here. So let me just delete it. I just need container hyphen fluid, and rest everything I do not want. Maybe the text center I want, so I'm gonna type in quickly text center, and it will bring the text in the center. Now understand, writing text center is not bringing it in the center. Writing text center is actually referring to a class which is already defined in the Bootstrap library, and those stylings are actually affecting this. Okay, so don't think ki just write text center anywhere without even if I remove this link, the text center won't mean anything. If I simply cut it, all the styling is gone, because the styling is done by this link only. If I say Ctrl Z, you see all the styling is back. Okay, now in order to style it further, I need to assign a custom class to it. I always have a habit of doing it at the first. The first class is going to be my class, custom class. So I'm going to call it, let's say, hero, because that's the hero section. Now this hero section can be further styled here. So I'm going to type in hero. Period is important. That is how you target a class. And then inside, whatever we will type is going to affect this. So first thing I'm gonna go and do is set a height of about 350 pixels. If you don't set the height, it will default back to the content field inside and the height of that. So I have set the height to 350 pixel. Now the vertical alignment can also be controlled. We will do that in a while, but let's just first bring in a background image. So for that you can type background image, and then you have to type URL, and inside you will have to pass on the URL for the background image. I'm gonna type in images to go to my images folder, and inside I have a background.jpg ready with me. So I'm gonna type in that, and it fills the div with the background. Okay, but I noticed on the right hand side there is some problem. It's getting repeated, so we have to play around with some more background properties. So I'm gonna go for background repeat, that's the first thing, and set it to no repeat. Then hit enter again, choose background. See, this is what it is doing, and then I want the background size to cover the entire space. So I'm going to type in background, choose background size, and here I'll choose cover. So what it's going to do is zoom in the image and make sure that it covers the entire space which is there. Okay, this looks nice. Now the text needs to be in the bottom. What was bringing that in the bottom was the p tag. So I need to add some padding also. I can add a padding of about, let's say, 100 pixels. Let's see what it does. It brings the image in the center. That's working out well for us. So 100 pixel padding from this side, this side, this side, and this side. From all sides the padding is being added. Now we need to add a button to it. So let's go to the index page, and right below the h3 we have to add the button. To add the button we have to put an anchor tag. Okay, so for example, let's say that I want to add the button, and I simply type in button and say click here. This will definitely add a button here, and it seems as if the button is clickable also. But if you hover on top, you see that it's here. Usually when you hover on a link, it shows where it is going to take you. Okay, right now there is no link in this page, but let me take you to another page, and if I hover on the button, you will see on the bottom left corner it shows where it is going to take me, because this button is linked to something. Now in this case my button is not showing up anything, so it is not linked with anything. A button with no link makes no sense. Let's go back to our code and quickly wrap this button inside an anchor tag, a tag, which allows us, I said wrap, right? The anchor tag opened and closed. We need to make sure that the opening is in front of button's opening tag and closing is after the button's closing tag. And in between I'm going to pass on where the button is going to take me. So for example, let's say I want it to take me to google.com. So I'll type HTTPS. For external links you have to write HTTPS. For internal links you can straight away just give the name of the page where you want to take it to. So here I want it to take it to google.com. So https://www.google.com. Full URL you have to type. Now if I go here and click on this button, it's going to take me to google.com. Perfect. So the way button looks can be controlled with this, and the way button works can be controlled with a tag, which wraps the button inside. So let's style the button real quick. I'm gonna go to the style.css, and here I want to address the button inside the hero div. So I'll type hero space and then the button. So button also is a reserved tag. I can use it without adding a period in front of it. And the first thing I'm gonna do is make the width of the button. No, that's not a good idea. Never set the width. Rather, because the content can be changed, right? If I, instead of right click here, I say learn more, or let's say that click here to go to such and such thing, the width of the button is going to increase. So always use references which helps the button grow bigger when the content inside is bigger. So rather than writing width for it, I'll use padding. Okay, and I can go for padding top, padding bottom, padding right, padding left, but that is too redundant, of a way to write the codes. And so I would rather use shorthand method for writing code here. So how padding works in the shorthand is that first value is going to set the padding top, then the second value is going to set the padding right, third is going to set the padding bottom, and fourth value is going to take care of padding left. So the first value is 10 pixels, padding top is 10, padding right now is 20 pixel, then padding bottom is again 10 pixel, and padding left is 20 pixel, and that adds up that space. You can see it here. I also want the button to be rounded, so I'm gonna say border radius, and I'm going to go for 100% because I want it to look like a capsule. But this makes no sense, looks not so good. So let's just add 10 pixel. Looks nice. Now we can change the background color for the button. We can have some margin at the top which pushes the button below. So let's go margin top, and I'm going to go for about 20 pixels. See, spaced out well now. And if I hover on top of button, it should change the color. So let's say right now whatever the color is, it needs to change to brown. So I'll have to write a hover class which is called a pseudo class also. So button colon dot hero space button. Make sure that there is no space in between button and colon, otherwise it is not gonna work. And then I'm gonna type hover and further type open and close curly braces. In between I'm going to type background color because that's the property I want to change it to brown, and then the color of the text I want antique white. So now if I hover on top, you see the button is responding, right? It's changing the background color, it's changing the color of the text as well. I also want to have some drop shadow in here which pops out the button a little bit. So I'm gonna type in box shadow. Don't mistake it for drop shadow, it's box shadow. And then I'm going to put 0 pixel for no horizontal offset, 30 pixel for vertical offset, 50 pixel for blur radius, and the color is going to be light gray, light slate gray. Let's see. Look at the shadow now, the button is popping out. So you customize it as per your own choice, that is perfectly fine. Now I want to change the font. For changing the font, we will be using web font. So you can pause the video now, take a break. When you come back, start again, and then I'll show you how to use web fonts for changing the color. Okay, so the way we do it is by going to fonts.google.com. Sorry for the announcement which is happening outside. I don't have much control over it. Just bear with these disturbances from time to time if it appears. Well, so after going to fonts.google.com, I'm looking for something which is which looks like handwritten. So for example, this one, Pacifico, like this one. I want to use this in my web page, right? So I'm gonna go to this page and click on get fonts and click on get embedded code. Then I'm going to go to import section and copy the middle line of the code. You can also copy the entire thing and paste it in HTML and then refer it in CSS, but I just prefer to copy this and then use CSS for keeping all the web fonts. So let's go here, and at the top, right at the top of everything, you just have to paste it. But one condition is there, you have to close the statement and the statement with a semicolon, then only it is going to work. So what I just did is I imported this particular font family from Google. Okay, now we have to use that, or in order to use that we will require these line of codes. So what I'm looking for here is 3 attributions. Font family needs to be set to Pacifico, comma cursive. So that's just a fallback basically. So if somehow the Google server is not working or something is going bad, maybe let's say that internet went off, so it will fall back to a cursive font family which is in the installed in the local system. Then you have font weight set to 400, then you have font style set to normal. So I'm just going to copy all these 3 line of codes and then go here, and because I want the H1 inside the hero tag, to have this font, just the H1. Let's go back here. Just this line I want to change, right? So I'm going to address that by saying, hey, look inside hero and then find H1 and then style it in this manner. Simple. Okay, quickly we have managed to change the font. If you want to change the color, you know how to do it, right? Absolutely no rocket science for you now. Changing the color of the font, all you have to do is type in color and then choose a font of your choice. I'm gonna go with brown, and very quickly I have managed to change and customize it. So we are getting there, right? Pretty close we are. So now here it says click here, and here it says explore the collection, right? If I need to change the buttons text, all we have to do here is, let me go and then copy this, come back, go to the index and change this click here to explore our collection, and it will respond. Okay, so we have created the hero. Now it's time to bring in the navigation. So let's go to the Bootstrap quickly and then scroll down where it says navs. Click on that. Now this gives you access to what is navigation. So ideally you should read this first, understand what it is, maybe try it also, and then go to the nav bar, which gives you access to the entire set of codes which will help you build this kind of navigation. So you can read through this, don't just copy and use the codes, but rather understand how it works, right? And once you understand it, then you can use it as many times as you want. So I'm gonna go down to the bottom of this page where I can find the navigation which has logo, 3 links, and the search box also. And I'm going to copy this entire set of codes and go back to my HTML element, and right at the top of everything, just below the body tag, here I'm going to type in, paste in the entire nav, and quickly Command Shift P, hit format document to format the code, makes it more readable. Yeah. Now let's understand what is there, what is happening here. So I'll just make you go through this entire thing line by line after I show you what it is doing. So if I go to my document, you will see this navigation which is being added here. Looks very nice and ready for us to customize it. Let's learn about it. So nav is a reserved class, reserved tag, okay, and these are the classes from Bootstrap. One is navbar, then you have navbar expand -sm, then you have navbar -dark, which is making it look dark, then you have bg dark. So these controls how the navbar looks. Inside the HTML structure you will find another div which acts as a container which contains all the objects which are there, the navbar. So the first under this container you will find a anchor tag which keeps the logo, then you have a button. Okay, now this button will only be visible, this particular button collapse, this is only going to be visible on mobile. This is a mobile first approach they have. So if I shrink the page as if it is being seen in mobile, you will see the layout will adopt and the columns become vertical now, the rows become columns now, and here we have this hamburger icon which allows me to expand the navigation, and all of it is happening because there is this Bootstrap library making it work. So I want the navigation to be contained, so I'm gonna go here and then change the container fluid to just container, and which pushes the things inside the container. And I also don't want navbar dark, I want it to be light. So there happened to be this light class also. You can read the documentation to get more classes like this, and I want the background also to be light. So now the navbar is light. Yeah. Now understand, after this button, which only shows up if you reduce the width of the browser, then we have this div which has an ID assigned to it, my navbar. Whenever you see, most of the time, not whenever, you see an ID assigned to something, that means some JavaScript is being applied to that, because JavaScript can utilize ID for calling it and then making the changes in real time. Now below that you have one unordered list UL, and inside the unordered list you have 3 list items. Now these list items are actually these 3 links. Okay, so UL, unordered list, there are 2 types of lists in HTML. One is unordered, another is ordered. UL is for unordered list, OL is for ordered list. You can read more about it on W3C School HTML page. Then after that you have a form. So this navbar essentially, has everything which would be useful for us. It has an image which is a link also. Then it has unordered list inside which we have 3 link items, list items, which is converted into links. And we have a small form also. So much to learn from this navbar, right? And this form has a class dflex, which is a Bootstrap class applied to it, and has an input field and a button. Okay, so we can customize all of this. So let's take care of the navbar one by one. So I want to change the logo, right? So let's see where the logo is. Right now the logo is pointing at JavaScript void. That means it's not gonna take us anywhere, but rather on the same page. I don't want that. I want every time somebody clicks on the logo, it takes us to the index.html, which is the landing page for our website. So first change, I'm going to do this. Second is, this is an anchor tag, and inside I want an image. So I'm going to get rid of this text and say img to bring in my logo. And then in the source, type img to access the images folder, and I have a logo there. Let me check which one. Here is the logo, ecokits_logo.png. I'm going to tap on this to have the logo. And if I go back, I see the logo is there, but it is huge. I don't want it this big. So very quick adjustment I can do here just by typing in width. And since logo is not something which will be repeated many times, maybe a couple of times here and there, so I'm fine. I don't want to pull this in CSS and style it. I would rather just do it here. So I want the width of the logo to be about 60 pixels. That sets it up for me. Looks nice. Then let's take care of the links. Further down in this, I go to the first link item and change this JavaScript void to, this is going to be my about section. Let's quickly see how many sections do we have in the document. I have about us, I have product, I have why choose, and I have testimonial, right? After that I have footer. So I need at least 1, 2, 3, 4 links, correct? Yeah. So about, product, why us, and testimonials. Okay. So let me just change these links, the names first. So I'm gonna say this is gonna be about, then product, then why us, and we need to create one more list item. So I'm just going to copy the last list item and hit enter and paste it, and then change it to testimonial. Okay, so total 4 sections we have, and I don't want somebody to click on the footer link to go to the footer. They can simply scroll down. That's the idea of footer. And we are just building up our header part here, which has a navigation and a hero on the landing page, right? So you can see that all the text is changed now. We can style it later on, right? For now, linking them is very important, right? So, and in order to link them on the same page, we have to create other sections as well. So for now, let it be the way it is. We will later on change these and link it on the same page by using anchor links. Okay, anchor links. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is create these sections. So let's quickly build up the product section or the about section, which is here. If you have done it so far, congratulations, you have come, you have crossed a lot of distance, and I think you are more comfortable with writing things in the VS Code and quickly testing it here if it is happening or not. But develop a habit of also going to the document in W3C school or otherwise. So the more you refer to the resources, the more you are going to learn. Okay, I don't want any of this, the columns, so I'm going to go to the VS Code and get rid of these columns, which is inside container empty5. In fact, I just don't need the columns. Let me just remove the columns, but remaining structure can be used for creating our own thing. Okay, so I have a container here which is not visible right now, inside which I have a row class, and inside that, if it is a row class inside which I am creating children's, then all those children's are going to be automatically arranged in rows, given that the column class is assigned to it. I'll show you what it means. Let me go a step back by saying Control Z. So inside this row class, I have 3 children's. This is the first one, this is the second one, and then we have a third one. And all the children's are being given a class, column SM4. So for understanding how the columns work, we must refer to Bootstrap grid system. So you go there and click on Bootstrap grid basics. How Bootstrap divides the vertical space, that is explained here in the Bootstrap 5 grid system. It splits the entire width of the page in 12 columns. 12 because it has highest number of factors. So it is divisible by 2, by 3, by 4, by 6, right? So all the possibilities you can imagine. You can have one single column up to all 12. So you can have 2 columns, combine 2 columns. You can have 3 columns combined, 4 columns combined. You can have 6 columns combined. You can also have a 4 and a 8 column combination. So this is how Bootstrap grid system works. You can read through the documentation to learn more. Now, here in this case, what is happening? A quick tip: the last number you see, just use it to divide 12, and the result will tell you how many columns can be created. So right now it says 4, and that's why we have 3 columns. So entire space is divided in 3 space, because if you divide 12 by 4, it results in 3. So if I change it to 3, change this to 3, change this again to 3, that means we can have 4 columns. So I can select this entire line of code and then paste it here, and we will have 4 columns. You can see we have 4 columns. I forgot to change the text here. I can simply come here and then change it to 4, and we have 4 columns. Okay, all right, let me just quickly get rid of all this, because we'll be building our things similar to this. So I see that there is an image, and there is a div which contains the h3 tag, a paragraph tag, and a button, right? So let's build it quickly here. So I'm gonna go and pull in my image first, and for getting the image, I'll again navigate to the images folder, look for the product image, and then come down. I'm not going to change the size from here. Okay, we'll do it through CSS, and there is a different way how you should do it now. We should wrap it within a div. Actually, this image needs to be wrapped in within the div. So let's copy this line of code, Control X, and say Control V, and this div needs to be given a class of column call -sm-. Let's say I split it in 4 and 8. So I want to assign it 4, and below that I'm going to have another div, div not directory, and give it another column class of call sm, and I'm gonna type 8. Okay, and inside this div I want a h3 element where we will type about us section. This is about us, and there is the content. So let me copy the content real quick, come back. So in the h3 I'm just simply gonna say about us, and below the h3 we will have a paragraph tag where I'm going to paste the content we have copied. Okay, let me quickly check if the word wrap is on or not. Yeah, it was off, sorry, now it's on. And below that we require a button. So we are going to create an anchor tag because I want that button to be functional. And then let's say it takes us to somewhere, maybe our Amazon website. So https www.amazon.in. let's say it takes us to the Amazon. You can give it any link of your choice, that's fine. And in between the anchor link I'm gonna have a button, right? And the name of the button is click here. Okay, now let's see how it renders on the page. Horrible, right? Everything is messy. We have the content, we have the image, we have this h3, we have the paragraph, we have a button also, but everything is messed up. Well, so let's fix them. How we can do it is first assign a custom class. Okay, so what we will do here is assign a custom class to the container itself so that we can target the elements inside. So I'm going to type in here about. Okay, and that's my section, or about hyphen section. Now this about hyphen section can be used as a selector in CSS, and the content inside that can be targeted. So I'll type in about hyphen what was that, about hyphen let me check, section. So, and I want to target the image, right? Or let's see, not the image, actually we have this image inside this, right? Inside this div class we have, and the image is just retaining its actual size. I want this image to be fitted within this class properly. So what I can tell the code for CSS for the image, that listen, you have to acquire the full width of whatever you are inside. So I'm going to type in width and say 100%. Okay, and this acquires the column SM4 100% of the width, and now it looks perfectly fine. For changing the styling of the button, I can quickly come back here, say about sec, and the button inside that, and because I want the styling to be same as I have styled the hero button, I can simply copy this entire thing, Control C, and paste it here, and the button is same. When I hover on it, it's not behaving the way it is. The reason being that I have this hover class which I have not copied for this one. So I'm going to quickly copy this, paste it, and here instead of hero, change it to about sec, which takes care of the hover class for this button also. Now for this one, I don't want to push it out because it's not part of hero. So I'll simply remove the box shadow, and this works out well for me. Now at the top you see there is some margin. Where is this margin coming from? Let's check. So if I go to HTML, here there is this empty 5 margin top 5 which is acting there. Okay, so I have choices. I can delete it from here if I want, and rather have custom codes for about sec and there I can fully control how much margin to add. So let's say I want 50 pixels at the top and margin bottom also to be of 50 pixels. Okay, so I have 50 pixel at the top and 50 pixel at the bottom as well. So we have created the about us section. Okay, now let's move to the next part. You can take a pause if you need to. I'm gonna just continue with it. So the next section is product showcase section, and it is demanding me to create a grid or a carousel display of products with high quality images. I'm not gonna do carousel for the product, but rather for the testimonials. Okay, for this I'm going to create a section, and in this case I'll have a couple of products. Okay, so let me just go to the index, and I want 2 rows of products to be displayed. Okay, so what to do here now? Let's build it from scratch completely, and let me format the document for a while. So I'm gonna say format, and if it is too much for you, I would advise take a break, practice it couple of times and then come back. Okay, I'll just continue with this. You can pause the video anytime you want, right? I need to finish this one. So there is our about us section, and this time I'm not copying things from anywhere. I'll start typing everything from scratch. So I want a div, okay, and div with a class. This is product, so I need to give it a custom class first. So I'll type product. Okay, after the product I want a bootstrap class because I want container and I want it to be fluid. Yeah, spans across the page. Excellent. Now inside that I want another div which needs to be given a class of row. This is again a bootstrap class which puts the child of this in a row, and then I'm gonna have one div, and this is going to be, let's say, column sm4. Okay, and inside I'll have one image, and let me just pull in one image, product 1, and below that we will have h3 where we have name of the product, and below we will have a p which says short description of the product. Click on the button below to learn more. Okay, so if I go and check right now, you will see that the layout is not behaving the way it should. However, the content is there, right? The image is there, you know, the title is there, and the description is there. Now we need to style it properly, and before we do so, I'll tell you that I'm gonna copy this entire thing couple of times to have 3 columns of products, and I'll simply change the name of the the URL of the product to have 3 different products. You can change the name of the product and short description also. I'm just using a placeholder here. So next thing I'm gonna do here is go to our style, and the way I had targeted about sec, just for maintaining the uniformity in nomenclature, I'm gonna call it product hyphen sec. Sec is for section, and then I'll say product hyphen sec, and I want to first take care of the image because my images are inside a bootstrap class, and I want to tell the image that listen to the bootstrap classes and acquire the full width. So I'm gonna set it to 100%, and this should take care of the size of the, oh, something is wrong. Product hyphen sec, did I type it correct? Okay, see, the big mistake we have made here is this products P is capitalized and there the product P was not capitalized. So guys, this is a learning for us. It's case sensitive. Now the size of the image is being fitted, okay, inside the column 4. Now understand this. Here we are using a container. Here we are using a container fluid. So in this case, the width of the whole container is fixed and the columns are going to be lesser in size because the width of the container is lesser than the full width of the browser. In this case, we are using container fluid, so the cards are bigger. I don't want it to be bigger though, so I can have, let's just, rather than using container fluid, I just want to use container, and that took care of it, right? And at the top here, I want, like here it is written about us, I want somewhere here written, it's a different section. So above the row, I can have a H1 element where I can say our products, okay, and there it gets rendered. Okay, now here we can add classes, like let's say that I want to have some margin here at the top, a padding. So we can simply bring a class and say, let's say margin top I want to add, so empty 5, and quickly adds the margin. And let's say I want to add some padding also, that can also be done by adding another classes, Bootstrap classes here. So let's say I want to add some padding to the bottom, so pb5 adds a adding of 50 pixels at the bottom. You can explore all these things on your own also. I'm just going to not use Bootstrap classes here, but rather use custom classes of my own. And I'll push the product section down by going to CSS, typing in product sec, and have margin top of 100 pixels, okay, and that will set the distance between these two to 150 because it has a margin bottom of 50 pixel and this has a margin of 100 pixels. So aggregate value of the distance between them is 150 pixels. Okay, now let's build up this. So and margin bottom also for product sec H1, and I'm gonna type in margin bottom of about 30 pixels. This is fine. And now I want to replicate this, right? So for doing that, we will go to index.html and copy the children inside the row. Copy this entire thing, Control C, hit enter, say Control V, hit enter, say Control V. So we have 3 products ready to go. And I can simply change. I don't want to again rewrite it. I know that this is how I have remained. So I'm just gonna randomly change this digit from 1 to, let's say this is 4, and the image is going to be changed. So we have 3 products. Okay, now if I want to change the corner radius for all the images, right, all the images of this website, rather than targeting the classes separately, what we can do here is target the image class at the top, okay, and give it a border radius of 10 pixels. That way all the images in my document will have a border radius of 10 pixels, maintains uniformity. Okay, and I want to, let's try it. I just thought of it. Let me just see if I can do that. If I go for 10 pixels, no, that's not gonna work. So forget about that. We can use padding. Just had to experiment it. Well, so we have reached to a stage where we can click on these links and it should take us to the pages, right, to that. But see, if I scroll down to this, it is stuck in the middle because I don't have content after this. So let's put some content quickly there by going to index and by planning for the next section we have. So the next section is why choose us, right? And it says design element, okay, fine. So this is the content we have. let's say Control C, come back here, and where this div ends, product section, we will introduce another section, call it div class, and this is y sec, and I'm gonna add a container fluid class to it because I want it full width, and inside that I'll simply have a h1, paste the content which is there, and maybe not h1 is too big for this, so maybe h2, and a call to action right there below this, start an anchor tag and link it to something for now, www.google.com. If you don't intend to link it to anything, you can simply just type in hash, and that means you have linked it to the same page. And in between I want the button, and inside the button I'll say explore more. The focus here is in structure and styling, not the content. So if I go and check what happened, this is how it looks. Sort impactful, the statement is there, everything is there, but I need to style it further, right? So I can use Bootstrap classes. For this I'm gonna quickly use Bootstrap classes. So I want P5 for padding, I want the text to be centered, and I want the BG, no, I'll not use that ugly blue color, but this looks fine. And okay, I want this statement to wrap inside, so maybe P5 is also not working well for me, and I'm gonna define this custom class here. Those who are thinking this is too long, I warned you earlier, it's going to be too long, but you can take pauses, as many pauses as you want. So this class, I want the padding left and right to be about 250 pixels. Now this is not a good idea, okay? I'm again warning you. I'm making a mistake on purpose, and I'll leave with you with this mistake, and you to figure out how to deal with this. So okay, y sec, and I have written y us, that's not right, y sec. Okay, so the padding 250 pixel is working fine, but this is not how responsive websites should be designed. Now this 250 pixel is going to crush the layout when it is on the mobile phone, so it's a bad habit. I'll show you what I mean. The moment I push the layout, this is what is going to happen. Rest everything is going to work fine. This is also a problem because we have defined the width, the height of it, okay, but it looks fine in this case, looks like an effect, so I can live with this. Now everything is fine till you reach here and you see this problem. This is happening because of 250 pixels of padding on left and right hand side, so not a good way of doing it. So I'm just gonna get rid of it. Okay, rather what I should do is go to ysec and go to h2 element, and then set the width of this to 50%. Okay, so whatever is the width of the browser, it will acquire the 50% width, and then I see that the 50% thing, okay, let me just remove this part. Okay, well, so let's not complicate it. I don't want to confuse you guys. Let it be the way it is and use the Bootstrap classes only for now. You can P5 for putting up that margin, and let's use BG primary just for the or primary. So have the blue color here, looks very ugly. We can change the color, however, that's not a problem. And for the button also, we can style it y sec button and simply copy the button code, this, Control C, Control V, and copy this also. Now if you see a repetition, you know how to take care of that. You already know how to write shorthand codes for the button. You can just put comma and then append all the classes where you want the button to be like this. I'm not gonna do that. I'll let you do that. Y sec. So my button is taken care of now. Button works fine. And if I need to change the background color, I can do so. Let me just do that. Remove this BG primary. I don't want this. What I want rather is a nice beige color in the background. So Y sec and say background color, and let's choose this. Looks much better. Yeah. And this H2 is too big. I think we should go with H3. So let me change this H2 to H3. Yeah, looks better. And I also want to break this, like let's say twice are the best choice. Sort impactful statements of, okay. Let me just break this by putting BR tag. BR1 BR tag here and here. So I want it in 3 lines. So I'm going to type BR and enter. So it's broken it in 3 lines. Maybe 2 line was better. Yeah, this looks fine. And I want to add some more padding at the top and at the bottom. So bisect padding top, and I'm gonna go for about 100 pixels at the top and padding bottom 100 pixels at the bottom. Oh, I think we need to add more. Now if it is not gonna work, then I'll show you why it is not working. See, it's not working because it's taking the padding from this, right? And there is a conflict. So we have to specify or give the custom codes priority by typing in important. Okay, important. And that's how it knows that, see, whatever the custom classes are styling it, it is more important than the defined default classes in Bootstrap. Okay, so we have nice thick section here, and I want to have some margin at the top and margin at the bottom as well. So I'm going to type in margin top of about 100 pixels and margin bottom of about 100 pixels. Great. So far so good. Now quickly I'm just going to link up the sections here. This section, at least one section I'm going to link up, and then we will call it that, okay, one part of tutorial is over. And once you are done with that, then you can move to the next part. So for linking the buttons, a very simple technique here is, if it is on the same page, see, these are the sections, right? So here where there is class, after this classes are done, you have to define an ID. And I'm gonna give it an ID of about. Same goes for product section. Here write an ID, and I'm going to give it an ID of product. Okay, same goes for this part, Y sec, and I'm going to give it an ID of Y, all lower cases. Now if the IDs are given, then we can go in the navigation and replace this link by hashtag and the name. So this needs to take us to about. Okay, so if you specify the ID, then it will take you there. Then this needs to be replaced by hashtag and product. Okay, and this can be simply replaced by hashtag Y. That's all you have to do if you are creating a single page website. Now if I click on this about, it's gonna take me to about. If I go back, click on product, it takes me to the product. If I click on bias, it takes me to bias section. There is not nothing in below this section. That is why it is not sticking to the top. But ideally, if you click on product, it should take you to that section and stick to the top element which is there in that section. Okay, so far so good. Pause the video, take a break. Maybe this is for one day. This is quite good if you have managed to do this much. So we will take care of many challenges which will come along the way as we progress. We will add a footer. We will also ensure if you scroll, this navigation sticks to the top and remains visible so that we can navigate to the other sections. Okay, so thank you so much for sticking till this point. And if you have made it till this point, I'm very sure you are enjoying the process and you are looking for more. Okay, keep on going back to Bootstrap, refer to all these, go to HTML section, go to CSS section, read a little bit, try out stuff, and become a better coder day by day. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video where we are going to build the footer and perfect the navigation more and also bring in multiple pages. Thank you.